I'm Julie, and I am on Melanie's low carb community, and the other, there's a couple of different ones. And I'm just so pleased that you guys were able to come on such a short notice. But trust me, it is worth the effort. It is worth whatever it was that you had to do or give up to come here tonight. Because there's going to be something that will be imparted to you personally. And I know that. I know how many is a praying person? I believe in prayer. And I believe that God has a purpose for each one of us. I know this. And I'm just so blessed that we are here in the living room church tonight, and my brother, Pastor Kevin Green, is sitting on the front row. I am so pleased that he would think enough of this endeavor of Melanie's that he would come and support this. I'm also very excited that this is the first event that my husband has been to. Where are you? He's over there. I'm so pleased, but he has been the biggest support. Day in and day out, he's seen the great and he's seen the ugly. But I'm so blessed to have a husband like this. I am also extremely happy and proud that my son Joshua Jordan is in the back and has created all of this. I want to back up because this has been a family affair for quite some time. We've been together in ministry for years and years. But when I first began, it was not so pretty. I was morbidly obese, and I was having such pain in my body, and I went to the doctor, to a neurologist, in fact, and they had already diagnosed me with pre-sugar diabetes. But the pain in my legs had already started neuropathy. And I had plantar fasciitis severe for a year or longer. I had to wear special shoes. My knees, I didn't know if I would have to have a surgery or not. My grandson even would pray over my knees, and it worked. But the neurologist said to me, you might as well accept the fact that if you don't do something to correct your health, that you will have someone pushing you around in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. That scared me. That really scared me. And it was actually my neurologist that directed me to Atkins at that time. This was in 2013. And so I got the book, I got on the website, and my husband and I started on the Atkins diet. And in 1 year, what a transformation. I began walking miles and miles. I went to the gym a couple hours a day. I was doing things that my grandchildren had wanted me to do, like sled riding, and we got motorcycles, and oh my gosh, it's been incredible. And I lost 110 pounds in exactly 1 month, 1 year. 1 year. I wish it was 1 month. That was 2014 when I reached my goal of 110 pounds. We moved in the same town, but just to a different home, and we decided we was going to do a renovation. And just everything got me out of my mojo. I didn't have the place that I usually got up and walked out the door and walked. Everything was different. And then we didn't have a kitchen, so we couldn't make the same things that we were making before, and I started craving like crazy, and before long, I couldn't stop. Long story short, I developed, I guess it was at that time I developed it, an addiction to food and sugar. Oh my gosh. I thought, what am I going to do? I put on 50 pounds. How do I get back? How do I get back? How do I get back? And if you've ever been there, you know it's a deep, dark hole. From that time on until last April, I was up and I was down. I would succeed and I would fail. And I felt like, is there any hope for me? Am I just going to go back to the way that I was? And I didn't want to. And I cried. And I prayed. And I begged God to please do something. And in April, my sister-in-law, Pastor Beth of this church, said, Julie, why don't you come with me we're having adored nights. And we're having this physician there, and he's going to talk about health. And I thought, what could it hurt? I felt like anything could be an opportunity for me. And that night, let me tell you, it was that night, late April, that I sat right kind of a little bit on the end of Christie's row, and I listened to Dr. Mark Cucuzella. He's here tonight. You all know him. And he spoke about reversing diabetes with the LCHF diet. And I'm like, oh, that's what I was doing. That's what I was doing. And I'm perking up and I'm listening. I'm like, yes, he's confirming everything I'd ever learned. And so afterwards, I spoke with him. He dropped Melanie Miller's name to me, and he said, and Dr. Westman. I'm like, oh, yes, I know him. Well, I don't know him, but I know him. I had been listening to his YouTube videos, and Jimmy Moore, and the Diet Doctor, and so many, and I had been just scraping for something that would unlock the door. I went back to my son's that night. I was staying in town here. And about 1 o'clock in the morning, I looked up Melanie on Facebook. And I sent a message. I didn't think that she was going to answer that late at night. I figured I'd wait till morning. And yet, as soon as I hit send, click, 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 when you know someone's writing a message, I'm like, oh my gosh. And she spoke to me until 2 a.m. She spoke life into me. She spoke hope into me. She spoke purpose into me. She told me that she would be by my side and that she had a group of people. Where's that group of people? Come on! That would hold me in prayer and support me. Right after that, I got to go to one of her meetings. Right after that, we saw Dr. Westman in Shepherdstown. I took the shirt that I had worn. Actually, it's in one of these pictures. It's a pink shirt. And I wore it for my 110-pound victory back a couple of years ago. I said, would you please sign my shirt? He says, I've never signed a T-shirt before. And he signed it. I think he said, you can do it. And that gave me the momentum that I needed to move it, to get off my, you know what? There it is, more determined than ever. And I said, the next time that I see this man, I will wear that shirt. Yes. Next Friday night. I wear that shirt because I met my 110-pound loss this week. I just thank you, Melanie. I thank you, Kara. I thank every one of you girls that get on Facebook and you comment and you say, you're such an inspiration. I'm like, really? The ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, trying to crack the code of how my body wants to lose weight. And I really feel like I'm there. So I am so thankful. I'm thankful, thankful, thankful. I know a lot of you have a similar story. And I'm so blessed to have met you on Facebook and now have met you here. I'm so blessed. My brother is the pastor of this church, and I want him to come because he is anointed to speak life and to speak purpose and to pray a prayer over each and every one of us, because that next step is critical for every one of us. We want to walk in freedom. I don't want to be bound. I don't want to be sad. I don't want to feel alone. I don't want to feel sick. And I know that every one of you has that same desire. Kevin, come on up.
Well, good evening. I don't know what to say in an event like this. Never been to one. So, but I have a thought that has really come from a scripture, because that's what we pastors do. We live from the truth, and the truth does set us free. And some of you are discovering some new truths that you never knew before, discovering new friends that you never knew before. And I just want to give you a little background of what I think is really working here tonight in this place. Not because we're in a church, but because what the church is and how it operates and how it's successful is really by the family that it is. And so when I hear how my sister has been encouraged and how she's connected with people that she don't even know, but you become Facebook friends and you start to encourage one another. Paul told it to us like this, that the church is people, and why we get together is for three things: to encourage, to edify, and to spur on to good works. That's what we do. That's what the church is. It isn't some crazy thing. I know sometimes you get different definitions of what the church is, and you got different styles and different shapes and everything else. But that is what Paul said that the church is all about. This is what I feel in the room tonight. I feel encouragement. I feel like there's going to be some people that's going to walk out of here just spurred on to some good works. And that good work, God wants to start it in you, because that's where it all has to start. You know, people like yourself, you find it so easy to serve other people and do it so humbly without serving yourself. But God wants you to find that down deep inside of yourself to be able to make that change. Be like David. Sometimes he said, I just had to encourage myself. And I think some people are going to leave here tonight encouraged. I'm encouraged, and I just feeling this spirit in the room of people just feeling let me give it to you this way: the air that is moving in the room, which is really the Spirit of God. It's our maker. It's our maker. God understands every one of us and who we are. And so if you're wondering where you will get the change from that is different from what you have experienced, I want to give it to you straight from the scripture, because I spoke on this past week in 2 Corinthians 5 and verse 5. It says, it is God who has made us ready for this change. Don't you think that God who has made you has given you the power, given you the knowledge? It's right there in front of us. All we got to do is reach out and touch it, open up our ears and listen, get around a good friend or a good group of people that we feel that encouragement. But let me tell you, it's wonderful to have friends. It's wonderful to be in a group like this. But really, it's God that's put us together in this environment of change. And He's the one that makes us ready for it. And I believe there's going to be a lot of change that comes out of this evening. And I'm just praying that this group is not just for you, but is for others. And a lot of inspiration will come through this group. And Melanie, it's good to see you. Been a while since I've seen you, talked to you. Melanie and I are old friends. We go way back. So, well, listen, I just want to pray for you because there's people that's really going to help you tonight, and I want to pray over them as well. Father, we thank you for this night, this opportunity we have here in this mall as people getting together, really just like a church, which is a family that comes together to encourage, to edify, and spur one another on to good works. And God, we just pray that would start in us this evening. Somebody that needs some change and is wondering where it's going to start. God, will you just join in with them and let them know that you are the one that is cheering them on. You've made them ready for this change, and it starts tonight. In your name we pray. Amen.
I just want to welcome Jimmy and Christine Moore to Martinsburg, West Virginia. Jimmy did this as a favor. That is really incredible, and we're so pleased to have you guys here. I hugged his neck so hard I think he gasped. I feel like I know you. But this night is about all of you, and there's two people in this room that's going to get you to where you need to go. Melanie Miller.
Me?
Come on. You go for it. Do it, girl.
Your heart. Thank you so much, babe. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like, for real, this is just to have Pastor Kevin come, y'all, this is huge to have this man here. He is when you walk into a community, there are certain people that can bring change. He's one of them. And a very smart and brilliant man who taught me this very important lesson on July the 28th, 2016, told me, he said, Melanie, it only takes one person to start a revolution. And he's right. Dr. Mark, would you come up here for a minute? Because I just got to honor you, brother. Dr. Mark Cucuzella. He's got the strength. Look, I couldn't even hardly walk like a year ago, and this man helped save my life. So let me tell you something about Dr. Mark, okay? I ran into him at an event where he was talking to some people about healthy ways of living and how people can't even lose weight when they're stressed out. And I raised my hand. I'm like, that may be me. I need help. So he spent time and talked to me. And he told me he's the only doctor that I have ever met that did exactly what he said he was going to do. And that was that he was going to send me some information on this guy named Dr. Eric Westman, who had a program that could help heal my body. And I was like, okay. And then I went home, told my husband, I'm like, this guy's never going to send me any information. And then I wake up the next morning on July the 29th, and there it is. He sent it to me. He didn't have to do that. This man is the medical student teacher for all the WVU students that are here between the two hospitals. What do you have, 65 kids, something like that? 30. So he's teaching them, plus he's doing call at both the hospitals, but he is just an amazing guy. And I'll tell you, because of what he has done to help inspire me, and I just went to him and I was like, Dr. Mark, I have this idea of putting on this event where we can help other people. I'm alone. There's nobody to talk to. So I said, will you support me? Will you come? And God, nobody knows who I am, but they know who you are. He's so famous like that. So you guys, y'all got to understand there's a song that I talk about all the time. And the Newsboys wrote this song. And it talks about just one tiny drop can turn into a river that turns into a tidal wave. And do you know that is exactly what has happened because of this guy and his belief? He's like first wave teaching the truth that a lot of doctors don't even want to teach you because he wants you to get healthy and get off those meds. So do you want to say hi really quick? What do you got to say, Dr. Mark, you superstar?
I want to thank y'all and certainly thank Jimmy and Christy for coming out. And I'll look forward to hearing a little more tomorrow too. But I've been teaching this type of living probably for 5 or 6 years, with one patient at a time. And it took Melanie and all of these connections to really get this spreading wide because it's bottom up. It's a movement of the people because my industry is the last to change. There's early adopters, kind of go with the herd, and then there's laggards. But we tend in medicine to wait till something is pretty obvious right in front of you, and then we say, well, I guess I believe that all along. So I think here, isn't that how it goes? Yeah, I was on board with that. But that's just the way it is, because it's dangerous to make radical change in medicine, because maybe we're wrong. So, we don't want to jump on to the latest thing every time it's in the news. But I'd been, in my own life, has had this experience too that you all have. I basically type 2 also. My A1C is 6.2. So I've been down the journey and I'm in remission now, trying to hold on like you guys are. But, I think my wife's grandmother wrote this. She lived to 103. Similar thing. She says, only a drop moves the rock. Only a drop moves the rock. And that's kind of what we're doing here in West Virginia. And it's a smaller rock. Moving the rock is hard. If it's a big rock, you can't move it. So we're a smaller rock here, but then now we can go to bigger places. You've what Jimmy's doing, published around the world. So your community here in all these pictures is real. So in medicine, we call things that don't fit our paradigms as paradoxes. We say, well, that's just an outlier. That's another paradox. But in any other scientific field, if something's a paradox, you have to explain it. You can't just do that. So everyone in this room is a paradox. No, it's an explanation. Right? That's what it is. So your job now is to share with others, with what Melanie's doing, Heal Clinic's doing, because read the book and try it for 2 weeks. But if you're on medications, you need to find a doctor who's going to help you come off those medications, because as the books will say, yeah, there's risk if you're on the medications and coming off them safely. But find someone who can help you come off them safely. That's all I got. I'll turn it over back to you, Mel. I'm late picking up my daughter, so I'm trying not to be in the doghouse here.
I don't want to be in the doghouse. Thank you for everything you do.
You all have a lot of courage. And I think, you all have a lot of courage, and that's what I respect in each and every one of you. You had the courage to do this and stay with it. And that's against what people are telling you. So keep that courage up. And it is, I think, one of the things I like to share with people. It's kind of like what you all are going through now, even folks who have lost weight. It's like holding a beach ball underwater, okay? And some of you are like, Julie, that was you, right? It's like holding a beach ball underwater. And, if it's at the right depth, you're good with that, but you can't let go. You can't let go, and that is what it is. So maybe put that in your head, and if you do let it go a little bit, you can push it back down underwater, but don't try to push it too deep. That's when you kind of get in a bad place, right? Try to push it too deep, you can't hold it down there. That's why, find that happy place. And health is the happy place. We're not talking about weight, all right? If you get your body's metabolism, you're feeling good, we are not talking about weight. Health. That's all I got.
High five, man. Dr. Mark, hold on, we need a high five. Dr. Mark, high five. All right, now give me another hug.
No, I turned, I didn't see you.
I just wanted to say in front of everybody, thank you for saving my life. This man saved my life. Saved my life. And not only did he save my life, but because of him teaching me to pay it forward like that, so many lives have been changed. And I'm not saying it's me. Look at these pictures that you guys see up here. We have I mean, we've touched so many thousands of people now, Dr. Mark. It's just unbelievable. And so, you know, when we first started talking, our goal was to take the second most obese state in the nation and turn it into the healthiest. Am I not right? And we're doing it. We ain't playing, guys. So I just want to thank you again, Dr. Mark. You're an amazing man. I know a lot of people in this room could stand up and say the same thing. We love you, man. Thank you so much, and we honor you. Let's give him a clap and a stand for him, guys. Now, I'm just going to talk for a couple of minutes. I don't know where Jimmy is. Oh, there he is. He's hiding back there. This church is so big, we could have put 600 people in here. But, hey, listen, this is the cool thing. And I'm speaking before the pastor's up front, so I got to be careful. But can you imagine this was only in 4 days we put this together? Can you imagine if we would have had a couple of weeks and it wasn't a Friday night football game? This place would have been mobbed. I'm just being real. So I'm so excited to be here. So Jimmy, I don't know if you're about ready or not, or because I'm just going to come on the end. You're ready? So let me just introduce you. I'm getting so excited. Okay, look, this is no joke, you guys. This man, okay, let me just tell you really quick. I'll just tell you my story really quick and how he fits. So when I met Dr. Mark, I was almost 100 pounds overweight. Well, and I still am 100 pounds. No, I'm not kidding. Just kidding. I need to lose like 50 more. That's my goal. But here's the thing. I had broke my leg, hurt myself so bad that I began to eat. It was a vicious cycle. So I had to learn how to break that cycle. I had to learn to believe in myself. So tonight I'll talk to you a little bit more about that later, but right now I just want to explain to you to set this up. So I didn't have any friends in the beginning, and that's why we started this group. The first group that Mark and I did together, we had 70 people show up to the first meeting. Second meeting, we had 125. We had to go to a bigger location. The third meeting had 175 people, guys, that were trying to get healthy. All right? So then this is like 3 months later, 4 months. The next meeting, our largest meeting in the room that we could fit, because we couldn't fit any bigger, we didn't know where else to go, we only had 225 people. More people in Shepherdstown. There's only 3,000 people that live in Shepherdstown. But let me tell you what ended up happening. Then we had another meeting in May because I had been begging this guy, Dr. Eric Westman, to come. And I was sending him messages constantly. And I'm telling him about all this stuff that's going on. Well, at the same time, I'm texting this guy online. His name's Jimmy Moore, who's got like 1 million people watching his podcast. He's wrote 2 books with Dr. Eric Westman, Keto Clarity, Cholesterol Clarity. And so I'm like, this guy must know his stuff. Now, the cool thing is that we're still going wrong. He's encouraging me. I still don't even know Dr. Eric yet. So this man has been encouraging me. He don't know me from nobody. So here's what happened, the coolest thing. So then we do the next meeting. All right, now we got 225 people at a meeting all trying to get healthy. The next meeting, Eric Westman comes. We have 425 people at the Clarion trying to get healthy. And I'm going to tell you something. Now, here's the cool part. It's one thing to talk about how many people and all that's fantastic, but I always believe that the numbers never lie and neither do the pictures. Well, wait a second. People. And to me, people matter more than anything. So tonight, I'm going to have some of these people come up really quick so that you can see that eating healthy can bring change to your body, okay? So let's see, who do we got? Do I have any of my team up here? Oh, by the way, now I've got a blessing. I got a volunteer team. So let's see, why don't y'all stand up and walk up here if you can. One of them is videoing, but come on. Come on up here, because this is not about me, you guys. This is about you guys being encouraged and empowered, just like what Pastor Kevin just said. So come up here. This is the team. We got a whole bunch of them. Man, they set the whole place up and we just walked in. Jimmy Moore, you ever seen that? That's amazing. All right, look here. Oh, we got a young one too. He's going low carb all the way. He's in training. Okay, so what I need you guys to do really quick is just state your name, how long you've been on the eating this way, how much weight or inches you've lost. Okay, go.
I'm Beth Figgins, and I attended Melanie's meeting in January, and I was so inspired that the next day I started the program, and I went from a size 16 to a size 10. And the first time you try on a 10, that's pretty good feeling. So at the school I work at, there's a lot of us now that are low carbers. Yeah, and actually one is with me tonight. So there's a couple here representing Mill Creek.
Hi, I'm Marcy Nicewarner, and I've lost 30 pounds since April 1st, and we started this adventure when my husband was told that, he was going to stroke or have a heart attack. But I also have RA, and I haven't been able to get my hands straight or anything. They were like little lobster claws, and I walked around. They were so swollen. And now, after 3 weeks on this, my hands are straight.
My name's Bill Nicewarner. I started April 1st. I have lost 40 pounds and 8 inches around the waist. When I first started, my cholesterol was 508. It is now down to 107. My total cholesterol is now 3.5. I've come off my cholesterol medicine. My blood pressure medicine has been cut in half.
I'm Paige Williams, and I started officially, I think it was like March, April. I'm not going to tell you pounds because I stopped counting them. I go by inches, and I've went down I'm hitting almost 5 pant sizes. So who cares what the scales say? I feel good. So I'm going to keep doing it.
I'm Tammy Lynch. I'm down 56 pounds, 4 pant sizes.
I'm Kara Lloyd. I started in 2010. I had already spent 10 years morbidly obese, and that was in my 20s. I didn't change my life until I saw my father go through a kidney transplant. He was uncontrolled diabetic. I was also, at that point, diabetic, 4 shots of insulin a day, high cholesterol medicine, high blood pressure medicine, and I had little kids running around. So I knew I had to do something. So that's when I picked up the original Atkins book. And I've stuck to 20 carbs for 6 years. And it works. It works. I'm on no medication. None.
Hey guys, I'm Lisa Fleming, and I started in January. I am down 34 pounds, and my story, a lot of you right there, the inflammation and pain I had was so bad. And I'm not going to go through everything, but I'm telling you, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Melanie in January said, Lisa, please come to this meeting. And I said, but Melanie, I can't come. I don't have a gallbladder. I can't eat like that. I have to be on a low-fat diet the rest of my life. And the low-fat diet, I was taking ibuprofen and Aleve every day for pain until I couldn't take it anymore because they found like a spot on my stomach and said, if you continue taking this, you're going to have a bleeding ulcer. And anyway, so I feel amazing. I feel alive again. I could really do backflips on this stage right now. I know I probably don't, but I just feel great. So guys, if any of you are please take a chance, get through those 2 weeks, and you will not regret it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So these are the people, guys, I am so blessed that I've been able to help over 7,000 people in this. This has been since, probably 2 months after I started. But I didn't do it by myself. These guys share and they do everything. Jules does so much. She's a blessing to me. But listen, the lives that they have touched, it's just family and friends. I want my cousin Carrie to come up really quick. Come here. And then Eli, come here. Girl, you're not sitting there. I got to show you guys. I want to show you the miracles that happen. This girl showed up to my house. Unfortunately, after her pastor passed away, her dad, she had to fly to another country, and I didn't get to see her for a long time. And I was so worried about her because I hadn't heard from her. And she shows up at my door, and I almost fell on the floor. So let me explain. Go ahead.
Okay, I met her October. Oh, yes, I did. Okay, I met her October. The first meeting. Yes, the first meeting. So my anniversary is October 26th this year. So anyway, I was 233 pounds when I met you. And now I lost 73 pounds. But yes, so I was wearing size 24. And 2X, 3X, depends on who make it. But now I wear large or 12 or 10. It depends who made it. But yes, so when I met her, she's like, I have clothes there. You're welcome to get it. And I took some clothes that I can wear, and I give them away as soon as I cannot fit them anymore because I lost so much weight. In 2 weeks, I lost 10 pounds right away. So this really worked. And a lot of my friends asked me, are you starving yourself? That's why you look this good? And I'm like, no. Do you eat boring food? Because they know me, I love to cook, and I love spicy food. And I'm like, no, I still use spices. I just use something I read now. Before I just, whatever in there, I eat. Now I really read, and I pay attention to what I put in my body. And when people offer me a lot of cake, and I still go to function, I still go to parties, and when they eat the stuff and they're like, you can have a bite. And I told them, I can, but I choose not to because I know what it will do to my body. And I'm like, but you look great already. You don't have, even just a bite. I'm like, I know, I can have that. But I choose not to have it because what it will do to my body. I said, I respect what you eat, and you have to respect what I eat. Whatever that, so I explained to them because sometimes they don't understand. They think this is a diet, and I told them it's not. It's my lifestyle. It's not different from a vegetarian or a vegan. That's a lifestyle. That's not a diet. That's not allergy. That's why you become a vegan. It's not. So I told them, it's a lifestyle. This is my life now. This is the way I eat. This is it. But yes, if I never met her, or I never see that Facebook, in Jefferson County yard sale, I will never come to this. And when I saw her talking about it, I'm like, wait, if she can do it, I can do it too. That's right. Yes, so now I'm still doing it, and I'm still losing. Like a lot of ladies said, don't pay attention to scale. Pay attention to inches. Because sometimes I'm the first 2 months that I lost so much, and then it became nothing. I told my husband, I'm ready to throw that scale. Because this week, I look at and I do journal. Start from the beginning, I do journal. I put all my food, what I eat, what I drink, and I just do that, and what vitamins I take, I even put it that. And I told my husband, that scale is broken. I think you need to change the battery. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, that scale doesn't say that I'll lose weight this week. And my husband is my big supporter. That's really a blessing to me that I have a big supporter beside me that support me. And he told me, honey, do not look at the scale. I told you, when you start, you're going to lose a lot, and then you're going to hit this. Don't look at that. So he's like, I'm going to measure you. So I'm like, fine. Go ahead. So I'm butt naked. Sorry, God. I just said that. I'm like, here, measure me. So from that on, now he's really loving. He's blushing now. And yes. And a lot of my friends too ask, is your husband doing it? And I'm like, well, he doesn't have a choice. I make meal. But actually, he's been begging me to start doing this lifestyle because he did this before and he loves so much. And of course, when he married, I cook. I love to cook. I love to bake. And I'm like, I'm Filipino. It's in our DNA to eat rice. It's embedded in my soul to eat rice. And he's like, honey, you have European blood. You have Spanish in you. You might not be a carb tolerance. So you need to watch out. I'm like, no. I'm a hard-headed Filipino. So I'm like, no. I eat rice since the beginning of my life. I can eat rice. And he's like, what? Fine. So, but now he's happy that I'm losing, and he's really my big supporter, like I said. Sorry, I talk too much.
She's Filipino, but I'm American. I talk too much too. So let me just set this up. This is so cool. Listen, guys. This is my first cousin. Then I used to hold her when she was a baby. Her mother said the reason she's the way she is because I dropped her on the floor. I really did, and she hit her head on the floor. But it was okay. So we've been through a lot as a family, and we have a lot of obesity issues in our family. And so I just wanted her to share really quick, just tell them really quick when you started. This is very important, why you started and where you're at.
Okay, well, thanks to Mel. I've been trying a very long time to lose weight, and I lost my father-in-law in December, picked up weight. Then I lost my dad in June, and while we were sitting in there, Mel said, look, do you want to be in there with him? We had a good come to Jesus meeting, let's just say that, and it hit me. She had told me about a year ago, and I kind of tweaked things a little bit to see how it was working. But then I was like, that's it. Sugar, nothing, I'm going full force. So we buried Dad in July 9th. So I started that Monday. And since then, I've lost 35 pounds. Yes. And I encourage anybody and everybody, please tell everybody who is struggling. It is so important. You don't want to be in that bed if you don't have to be.
Diabetes, guys, is Dr. Bernstein. He's one of the most incredible physicians. He's well known for his diabetes, and he on a message talks about diabetes. He says diabetes has to be one of the most slow and painful deaths anybody could ever experience because it's a lifetime. And so eating like this absolutely it will halt diabetes. And that's a miracle. So later I'm going to talk just for a few minutes about what we do at HEAL. But with that being said, can we just give them a clap? Because I needed you guys to see the truth. So, and I want to bring up now, I just want to thank the next guest that's coming up. Oh gosh, what can I say about Jimmy Moore? He's amazing. We were with him last weekend in low carb, Kansas City. This man travels. He just got back from Australia. Like I said, he's wrote 2 books with the legendary Dr. Eric Westman, who is the creator of the new Atkins for New You. He is also in charge of our HEAL clinics, and he's now my business partner. I'm so proud to be on that team. But this man was there for me before I even knew Dr. Eric Westman. And you know what? He was a supporter just like I am to many of you. He taught me a lot just by the time that he took to talk to people. And so tonight I want to give a big West Virginia welcome to the man who is going to teach you a lot. He is a legend in his own right. He also has, if you guys can follow him on a lot of his podcasts, I think he has over 1 million people that do watch the several. And I'm just going to give it for Jimmy right now. Come on, Jimmy. He didn't ask for a dime to be here. He's blessing us. It's unbelievable. So we just thank you, Jimmy. And his beautiful wife is too. She's here as well. Can you do it? Good job, brother.
Otherwise, I'll have to freestyle. I can freestyle. I had a nice set of slides there. I can freestyle. Yeah, it needs to be plugged in. So, the slideshow, yeah, do you have like an HDMI? Yeah. If you don't have it, it's okay. I've done both. Oh, well, if I'm not using it, I've got a lot of power to last me. So, hey guys, my name's Jimmy Moore, as you've heard 1,000 times from that wonderfully enthusiastic lady. And I love the vibe that's here, because the whole pay it forward is what I'm all about. I've always thought that if we're going to get the message out there to really help people, you have to pay it forward. And so if your life has been changed in some way, being a part of this group, dude or dudette, you got to do something. Start a blog if you like to write. Start a podcast if you like to talk. If you look pretty on camera and you like looking at yourself. I'm just kidding. Do videos. There are some people out there that are like that. The millennials especially. Yeah, so anyway, you know, you've seen them. If you're a millennial, I'm sorry. So back in 2003, I weighed 410 pounds, was drinking 16 cans of Coca-Cola a day, stopping by McDonald's on the way to work and getting a 2 sausage, egg, and cheese biscuits with the hash browns and the large drink. I was having big plates of pasta. I was a carb addict. I now call all of those things crappy garbage, because that's what it is. It's carbs that are garbage, they're garbage. That's going to show up in the dictionary one of these days. Just wait. I'm pushing for it. So I was eating all these foods, totally oblivious to why I was doing that. So I'm going to back up a little bit. Long time ago, when I was growing up, I grew up in a single family home. My mom was raising, and I had an older brother 4 years older than me and a younger sister 2 years younger than me. And she would feed us all that junk. And that's how I learned how to eat. How many of you can relate to that? Hamburger helper? Oh yeah. If I eat one more of those, I think I'll puke. But yes, I used to eat that. And of course, we'd get the lean meat, because that would somehow make it healthier. And of course, Mama would have those rice cakes around. You ever have rice cakes in your house? My brother Kevin and I used to put like peanut butter and jelly on it to try to make it. It didn't taste better. It was still horrible. And so it was in the 1980s when I was a kid. I'm 44, about to turn 45. And so we bought into the low-fat mantra. My mom did, hook, line, and sinker in the 1980s. How many of you from that era remember that and you bought into low-fat? What's interesting about that, and this just came out in the news recently, that Big Sugar actually paid to squelch the positive research about fat. Did you hear about this? You probably didn't hear about it unless you're in kind of the groove here and you listen to my podcast and other podcasts. But mainstream media, they hadn't really done a lot with this. But it's true. They actually have documentation where Big Sugar paid Harvard researchers to talk positive about sugar and negative about fat, and that's why we're all scared of fat today. So if you're still scared of fat, know you were propagandized, and it's time to start eating the friggin' fat. So eat the fat. It's there, that's why it's there, especially real food fats. Butter, coconut oil, full-fat meats and cheeses, those kinds of things. So back to my story. Grew up a child of the 80s. Whenever you needed to lose weight or get healthy, what did you do? You cut the fat. So fast forward a little bit, I graduate from high school, I go to college, and how do I start eating? Do I suddenly know and have an epiphany as to how I'm supposed to eat? No, you eat the way you know. I mean, I don't know how many of you went to college and you're just like, oh yes, now I'll have Brussels sprouts and chicken breast and all the way. No, you didn't know how to eat. And so you ate the same way you ate. And of course, you probably do it to the nth degree. I remember my dad and my brothers, and I have another brother that's 6 years younger than me, and we would all go out for pizza to see who could eat the most slices of pizza. Now, my brother Kevin always won, and I came in a close second. but we were always eating like whole, big, large slices of pizza. So when I go to college, what am I eating? Big pizzas. That's how I knew to eat. And of course, ramen noodles, because when you're a college student, you're totally ramen noodles with American cheese on top and the little flavor packet, no water. Yeah, you kind of learn these little tricks. But anyway, I now know that those ramen noodles are 68 grams of carbohydrate for one of those little, like, you could Brillo pad something with it now, but 68 grams of carbohydrate. You divide that by 4, and that's teaspoons of sugar. So 4 into 68 is how much? 24 teaspoons of sugar. Ouch. That's a lot of sugar. So anyway, I'm going through my 20s. I'm gaining weight and gaining weight and gaining weight and becoming more of a carb addict. Because quite frankly, all of these things are extremely addictive. How many of you feel like you're addicted to carbs? Raise your hand. How many of you avoid those carbs because you know you're addicted to them now? So hopefully if you're not raising your hand now and you are addicted to carbs and you want help with that, maybe by the end of tonight, you'll realize, hey, there's a better way. So fast forward a little bit more. I get married to Christine in my early 20s. Say hello, everybody. And she sees me when I marry her. I think I was like 330 pounds. She was 90 pounds. So, yeah, that was fun. Sweet and low. So anyway, so she sees me ballooning up. And of course, she is always getting on me because she cares about me and my health. And what did Jimmy Moore hear it as? Nag, 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 nag. I mentioned nag. So, of course, every time that she would want me to eat healthy, it was always, well, let me put some carrots in a salad and have some fat-free dressing, because we bought into the low-fat lie. And, of course, every time she did that, I'm just like, seriously? No. Did I just mention no? No. But then something happened in 1999 that shook me to my core. 1999 was the year that my brother Kevin had 3 heart attacks in 1 week. 32 years old, heart attacks. And I'm going, wait a minute, wait. I'm 4 years younger than he is. How can this happen? That's too young. You never hear people having heart attacks that young, at least not as a norm. So he was in the hospital, and he ended up having to have a defibrillator put in. He eventually died at the age of 41 in 2008. But it was that 1999 experience I said, I got to do something. I went to Christine and I said, what do we do? I mean, I don't want to follow him in his footsteps. And so I said, well, I know what I got to do. No fat. Just eat no fat in my diet at all. So what did I eat in that no-fat diet? Have you ever gone to, well, yeah, we're getting there. Have you ever gone to the grocery store and looked at all the health claims? Isn't it fun? Did you know marshmallows are naturally fat-free? It says it right there on the packaging. Or Twizzlers, it's a low-fat food. Have you seen that? Did you know Twizzlers was made with like wheat flour and sugar? I just thought it was sugar. I didn't know it had wheat flour in it. I thought it was like wax or something. I didn't know what it was. So you start educating yourself on these things, but I wasn't at that point. At that point, I was totally about, if it's got 0 fat, I'm putting it in my mouth. So what happened, Christine? I was angry and irritable. She said I was not fun. That's putting it very kindly. And I'm a Christian too, by the way. And so it challenged our faith. You know, going through that low-fat diet. Anybody had that? Or because it changes you. What I didn't realize is and I'm about to insult you, but in a good way, we're all fatheads. Seriously. We need fat in order to function. Did you know your brain is like 70% fat? So in that year I was eating no fat, my brain was going, what are you doing? Wake up, McFly. So I lost a good amount of weight doing that.
But then one day, Christine says, will you go to McDonald's and get me a Big Mac meal? I said, sure. Let me get one just this one time. Who's used that before? Yeah. So just this one time became a full-fledged binge for 4 months in a row. And I gained it all back and then some. Just zoom. And it was over 150 pounds. And so it was at that point that I said, you know what? If it takes being miserable and hungry and irritable and not myself, because I'm a very happy-go-lucky guy. That year I was not. If I have to feel that way to be healthy, I'd rather be fat and eat whatever I want and be extremely happy. That's a dangerous place to be in. Can I tell you? And so that's where I was for the next few years until 2004 rolls around. In the fall of 2003, I had a series of events that happened that kind of shook me again. And so I was a substitute teacher in an English class in school, and so I was writing the plan on the board, and right back there, whoever I'm pointing at, I'm sorry, but you're that little kid. Little kid from the back of the room said, man, Mr. Moore's really fat. And of course, I turn around, and they're all laughing. And I start laughing to keep from crying. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Said, by the way, he was a pudgy little 6th grade kid. So hope he figured out low carb by now. But that shook me up. I was like, whoa, this kid, kids speak truth. And that one did. And then I was actually at a carnival we had at our church. We always had a carnival each fall for the kids going back to school. And I was watching all these kids and adults go up and down this rock wall like it was nothing, like they were Spider-Man. And I was like, I can do that. I thought I was maybe 325, 330 pounds. I didn't realize how big I had gotten at that point. And so I try to do it, and I can't do it. And I'm thinking to myself, what in the world is happening here? This can't be right. But it was. It was waking me up. I'd go into cars, and maybe some of you can relate to this, because I had to buy clothes from the big and tall store, and I would rip those pants. Those are $90 pants that you rip when you get in and out of cars, and I was ripping them regularly. I'm going, okay, whoa, wait a minute. What is going on? And the thought of going on another low-fat diet had no appeal to me at all. But then I got a Christmas present in the Christmas 2003 from my mother-in-law. You know where this is going, don't you? She gave me a diet book for Christmas. Thanks, Mom. I know I'm fat. Actually, she'd given me a diet book every year for Christmas. One year she gave me Dr. Phil's book. Today can be a changing day in your life. And I was like, no, it won't be, Dr. Phil. That's a low-fat diet. But this particular year, she gave me a book that really did change my life. And it was Dr. Atkins' New Diet Revolution. Who has read that book? If you've not read that book and you want to understand what Melanie and Dr. Cucuzella and everyone's talking about, read that book, because it really is the foundation for all the work that I'm doing now and all the work that a lot of people are talking about with low carb, high fat, ketogenic, all of those things. The groundwork was laid by Dr. Atkins in the Dr. Atkins' New Diet Revolution. So I read that book from Christmas to New Year's. My birthday is 2 days after Christmas, and I'm sitting there reading this book by this cardiologist that's telling people to cut their carbs. Cut their carbs. How in the world are you supposed to have any energy if you don't eat carbs? That made no sense to me. Okay, let's keep reading. Eat more fat? This guy is truly whacked out of his mind. Doesn't he know that that's the exact thing that clogs your arteries, raises your cholesterol, and gives you heart disease? Who all believed that? We all did. And yet I'm sitting there reading all of these things in this book that's basically the exact opposite of everything I thought to be true about health. And I thought, you know what? Maybe the food pyramid does need to be turned upside down. And so I went on the Atkins diet, by the book. Not just meat, egg, and cheese and hope it works. I did it by the book. And so January 1st, 2004 started off as a New Year's resolution to lose weight. It turned into a new life resolution to get healthy. And I love that that has been articulated already from this stage. Guys, this ain't about weight loss. It's about health gain. Now, yes, weight loss is what we want in our heart of hearts, but you know who told us that? Culture. The culture tells you you got to be a certain size, you have to be a certain weight. I am not a perfect weight right now. And guess what? I don't care. I really don't. It doesn't mean that I'm not doing something about it, but there are so many multiplicity of reasons why that happens. And so 2004, the reason why was 16 cans of Coca-Cola and whole boxes of Little Debbie snack cakes and Hamburger Helper and everything. So when I started cutting out, and I counted it up, you guys, somewhere of 1,600 to 1,800 grams of carbs a day I was eating to 20. I've never taken drugs in my life, but if I can imagine what crack cocaine or heroin or some hard drug feels like coming off of, I remember it was the first day I was driving to the grocery store to get some real food for the first time in my life. And I remember I was listening to the radio, and this afternoon disc jockey was like, how many of you are on the, some kind of New Year's resolution? Call in and tell us how you're doing. So I call in and go, He said, sir, are you okay? I said, no, I'm on the Atkins diet. He's like, that bad, huh? And so that's how it started, wasn't it, Chris? In fact, I was on the couch for the first 2-3 days, miserable. And she's like, are you dying? I said, yeah, I think I am. But I wasn't dying. My body was making the shift. Because right now, probably 90% of the world's population is a sugar burner, right? They're burning sugar that's coming from not just sugar, but also all carbohydrates, which, by the way, turn to sugar in the body. That's why you take 4 and you divide the total carbs, and that's teaspoons of sugar, because that's what happens in your body. And if you've listened to Dr. Westman, how many teaspoons of sugar are in the entire body? Everybody but Melanie Miller can answer. 1. And so when you load it up with all these 16 cans of Coca-Cola, your body has to rebel a little bit. So this is the rebellion that my body's doing to me today because of that. So back to the story. So I go on this diet. First month, I lose 30 pounds. This is cool. Now I'm a svelte 380 pounds. And actually, that afternoon disc jockey decided to do a contest of who can lose the most weight in 2004. And so he wanted to make it, his name was Ralph, and so he wanted to make Ralph's ton of people. So he wanted 2,000 pounds worth of people. Well, when I started, I was over 400. By the time I did the contest, it was 380. So I was one of the lighter contestants, but we had 2,000 pounds. I ended up winning that contest because everybody else dropped out. Nobody else could stay in it. They were in the hospital or whatever. So I ended up winning by default. But I did end up, by the end of the year, I'll tell you in a second, but I lost 40 pounds in the second month when I felt so energetic. I had to get the energy out. Anybody started this and you're just like, I just need to let the energy out. There's nowhere to go. So I did that in month 2. Month 3, by 100 days basically, I'd lost 100 pounds. I'm going, there's something to this. And the best part, you guys, no hunger, no cravings. They disappear. People don't believe you. And when you start talking about low carb, I could never live without bread or pasta. I'm like, yeah, you will. You get to eat butter. What diet have you ever gotten to eat butter on except the one that makes you fat? Because you're eating carbs with them. That's it. And so by the end of that year, I had lost 180 pounds. And it totally changed my life in so many ways. Because the physical thing, and what I didn't tell you is I was also on 3 prescription medications before I started this. I was on high cholesterol medication, statin drugs, and I was also on breathing medication, the little Advair that you had to suck into your lungs because I was, having trouble breathing, and then blood pressure medication. Within just a few weeks, I was off the breathing medication. Within a couple of months, I was off the blood pressure. I held on to that cholesterol one for a while because how many of you still fear cholesterol? If you do, I got a great book back there called Cholesterol Clarity. But cholesterol is one of those things that you just have to mentally get past, that it's not about cholesterol and it's about the inflammation, which I had on beautiful slides here to show you, but freestyling is fun too, so I'm glad to do this. So I lost 180 pounds, and at the end of the year, the Atkins company said, hey, we heard you lost a little weight on our diet. I said, yeah, just a little. And they said, can we feature you on our front page? Sure, this was the end of 2004. So they do that, and I start getting all these emails from around the world. How'd you do it? Who are you? Where's your blog? Where's your book? And of course, this is 2004. There was no Facebook. There was no Twitter. There were forums. That was the way you communicated with people online. If you tried to set this up now, go to the Martinsburg, West Virginia forum page, and it's like you wouldn't have been able to do it. And so there was no real outlet for anything. And so I was like, what am I going to do? A friend of mine had a political blog at the time, and he said, why don't you blog? And I said, what's a blog? 2005, nobody knew what blogs were, at least in the health realm. He said, you just rant. You just kind of talk about stuff in written form. I could rant. And so I start writing, and I start this blog in April 2005 called Livin' La Vida Low Carb. And yes, I'm a Ricky Martin fan. Actually, I think if you Google Livin' La Vida Loca now, you actually find my stuff before you find his stuff now, because he's kind of gone off the wayside a little bit, off the deep end. But anyway, so I started that, and it started growing really fast. It was about 5,000 people the first month, and then 25 by the 3 months, and it just started growing really fast. And 1 year later, this gentleman comes to me and he says, if you talk half as good as you write, you need to be a podcaster. So what was my question for him? 2006? What is a podcast? Now everybody knows what podcasts are, but back then it was kind of new. And so I said, I don't know how to do this. I did a little bit of Christian radio back in the 1990s. Actually, down in Virginia Beach, I was a Christian disc jockey for WODC radio. That was Michael W. Smith. Now here's Amy Grant. That's all I did. Seriously. Not what I do now if you listen to my podcast. And so I was like, ugh. So he said, I'll tell you what, it's a compilation show called the Health Hacks Podcast. We'll have you and about 3 or 4 other contributors, and you just do like a little 5-minute segment. Okay, I remember my first segment was like why HFCS is the devil. So, and it is, by the way. So high fructose corn syrup, that's what HFCS is. So we start doing the show, and about 3 months or 3 weeks in, the guy comes back to me and says, dude, nobody's listening to any part of the show but yours. We got to get your own show. I don't know how to do this. And he said, I'll be your producer, just do your thing. So in October of 2006, we're coming up on 10 years I've been doing this now. October 2006, we started, what else? The Livin' La Vida Low Carb show. How many listened to that show? The rest of you have 1,200 episodes to get caught up on. Good luck. It is now the longest running health podcast on the internet. I've been doing it for 10 years. And since the time I came out, when there was nobody, I think nobody was out there. Since then, there have been hundreds, if not thousands of ones. Some of them come and go because they realize podcasting is very hard, especially to be consistent at it. I do 3 shows a week with just that podcast. I do another podcast on Thursdays all about the ketogenic diet, which is low carb, high fat, called Keto Talk with Jimmy Moore and the Doc. Anybody listen to that one? If you don't listen to Livin' La Vida, you're probably not listening to Keto Talk. And then Friday, we do one where we talk about health headlines called Low Carb Conversation. So I do a lot of podcasts now, and it all started because my life was changed. I was able to start articulating and trying to get the word out there, and now I can fly halfway around the world to Australia and ask that same question, how many listen to Livin' La Vida, and 3/4 of the audience raises their hands. That is mind-blowing, you guys. If you'd have told me when I was 16 years old, one day you're going to grow up and be this major influencer in diet? Really? Really? Then I know God has a sense of humor, because it's like that would have been the last thing on my mind. 2012, I was actually given the great opportunity, because of the success of my podcast, to start writing books. I had a major publisher approach me and they said, "Hey, we love what you're doing. We want you to write books for us." I was like, okay, sure. And so they said, what do you want to write about? Of course, at the time, 2012, I was talking about ketogenic diets and starting to get into that. Anybody know what a ketogenic diet is? Good. So for those of you that don't know, it's basically where you're shifting your body from sugar burner to fat burner and letting your body burn on fat and ketones. So you make that shift by, surprise, surprise, cutting down the carbs and even moderating down the protein. And then most of your calories come from, guess where? Fat, dietary fat, as well as your body fat. So I told them ketogenic diets. Now they were at the time a very major paleo publisher. And so they were like, well, ketogenic diets, that's kind of niche. Nobody really cares about that. It's not going to really go anywhere. I said, you're wrong, but okay, what else can I write about? How about cholesterol? Because when I lost weight in 2004, I actually went to see my doctor after. Now, I couldn't tell you what my cholesterol was before I went on Atkins because, again, I didn't care. I wish I had, in hindsight, gotten a lot of those tests done so I could see the before and after, but I didn't care. And I didn't honestly think Atkins would work because nothing else had ever worked. And so I went to him afterwards and, wow, you lost a lot of weight. Yeah, I did okay. And he said, how'd you do it? And I said, oh, it's the Atkins diet. I knew he was going to respond. And so he's like, oh, let's check your cholesterol. I was like, why? If I said low-fat Mediterranean, you'd have been like, yeah, way to go. But he said, let's check your cholesterol. I was like, I have nothing to hide. So he tests the cholesterol, and I get the results back. My triglycerides, under 100. Fantastic. Something like 56. My HDL cholesterol was well over 50. It was something like 72, I believe it was. And I'm going, man, oh man, triglyceride to HDL ratio is doing really good. Total cholesterol was somewhere around like 270, but everything was just beautiful there. But he looks like I killed my cat when I go see him because he said, ugh. I said, what? He said, your cholesterol is horrible. I'm like, what are you talking about? I got the best triglycerides probably of any patient you have ever seen. He said, yeah, I've never seen it that low. I have great HDL cholesterol. Isn't that the good cholesterol? Yeah, it is. What are you upset about then? He was looking at LDL cholesterol, LDL-C, and total cholesterol. And because they were out of the range that he thought they needed to be, he suddenly thought I had a statin drug deficiency. And I said, no, I don't. No, I don't. How many of you have gone to your doctor and they say that? Yeah, you have horrible cholesterol and it's based totally on LDL and total. I mean, we all have. And so I said, there's got to be more to this story. So I want to write a book about that. And so I did with Dr. Westman. It was funny because it was just after New Atkins for New You had been out for a couple of years. And Volek and Finney, who were the other two co-authors on that book with Dr. Westman, went off and started writing books on their own. And so here's Eric, kind of flailing, not really have anybody to write books with. And I went to him. I literally drove to his office. Didn't we do that, Christine? We were on the way back from Virginia, going back home to South Carolina. And I stopped in his office. I said, I hate to just come in, but why don't we have a chat real quick? And I said, I want to write books with you. Will you help me? Because I've been very educated doing my show. I have maybe... at that time, maybe like 700 episodes under my belt. I feel like I've got like maybe 10 PhDs worth of information in this noggin now from interviewing so many people. And so I said, Eric, let's write books together. I'll tell you what, I'll do most of the writing, but you read it and make sure I'm not going off course from where the science is. He's like, okay. Whoa, I just got Eric Westman to write books with me. That was cool, or at least one book. I might sucker him into another one, but at least one book. And so we did the cholesterol book. And my publisher was very pleased. It did very well. And we have copies back there. But then I said, can I please write the ketogenic book? I said, it's going to be bigger than paleo. And that caught their attention, my publisher. They're like, yeah, we don't think so, but okay, why don't we do that? So again, Dr. Westman decides to join me on Keto Clarity. And we released that in 2014. And it, in 1 week, sold more copies than Cholesterol Clarity did in that 1 week, or Keto Clarity in 1 week, than Cholesterol Clarity did the whole first year it was out. Needless to say, they became very quick fans of ketogenic diets. And 2 weeks later, when it was like blowing up all the bestseller charts, they're like, we need a cookbook. I'm like, well, Dr. Westman burns water, so he's not writing a cookbook with me. I said, and I cook, but my idea of cooking is throw, stir. There you go. Anybody cook like that? I totally love cooking intuitively. But I knew someone who knew how to make recipes. So Maria Emmerich, anybody know her work? So marianutrition.com is her website if you want to look her up. She's got lots of great recipes. But I said, Maria, you've self-published 7 books. It's time to step it up. Let's do a book together and make you a superstar. And so she's like, and finally I said, it could hit the New York Times bestsellers list and that would change your career forever. It didn't. It hit the international bestsellers list. So now we're both international bestsellers because of that book that she was scared to do with me. And now she's got as many books as she wants to write with my publisher, who's now her publisher, for the rest of her life. She's about to come out. She came out with her second one, the follow-up to our book, earlier this year, and she's coming out with another one on getting toxins out of your diet, out of your body with diet in December. So she's off to the races. And see, I love doing that stuff. I think when the Lord blesses you, you got to bless people back. That's my philosophy. And I think that's the way Jesus would have it too, Pastor. I think he would have us be that salt and light that he calls us to be. And part of that is being encouragement and paying it forward. So I really love that that's been a theme here tonight. So I'm doing my thing. I'm going around getting the opportunities to talk. Even though I'm not the perfect example of anything, I'm the perfect example of what one man can do when his life's been changed forever. Thank you very much.
Incredible. Okay, so I'm going to share a little bit. Before we do that, can you show them each one of the books? Because they're all like wondering.
Cholesterol Clarity. What the HDL is wrong with my numbers. You can actually blame someone in my church for coming up with that. Because I was telling him, I said, I need a good subtitle. I'm writing this book about cholesterol and why it's not wrong. He said, yeah, what the HDL is wrong with my numbers? I went, don't tell the pastor we came up with that. And then Keto Clarity is international bestseller that we've had, doing really well. And then here's the international bestseller that came out with Maria, the Ketogenic Cookbook.
Oh.
So I do have a new one coming out October 18th, but I thought it was a little like low carb 301. I didn't want to like blow you away, but it's about fasting, or as I call it, the other F word. So you definitely, yeah. But fasting has a very spiritual context to it too, and we use that. So
awesome. Thank you, man. And I'll tell you what, we have some books back there. Please, to support him tonight, you guys. This guy travels all over the world. International bestseller. He actually almost made the New York Times bestseller twice. And the information in here is critical to your success on this lifestyle. And if you want to experience what these guys up here were experiencing, they'll tell you most of them have read those books as well. So you've got to buy them tonight. Please buy them, support Jimmy, and change your life. And then I'm going to share a little bit about Heal. You're amazing. I know everybody's watching on Facebook right now, and I'm sure they're excited to see you. So, okay. So, First of all, I just want to say, I know Jimmy was talking about little Debbie, and I'm going to throw this out here first to you as I begin to teach a little bit. You're going to divorce little Debbie. Get it? She is no longer your friend. All right? We always talk about that around with the people that we're helping. Little Debbie is not your friend. She's not your friend. She's not your family. So throw her out the kitchen. Okay? We all get rid of her. So listen, here's the key to this success. Do you want to know the truth? Is that you just stick to the program. And you guys are like, what's the program? How do you do it? Well, I'm going to tell you tonight what happened. For me, what happened was, I snuck in with Dr. Mark Cucuzella that you guys met earlier and got to meet Dr. Eric Westman at the obesity medicine conference that happened in D.C. about a year ago. And I wasn't allowed to be in there, nor did I pay the $3,000 to go, but I did sneak into where he was playing in the band. So I got to meet him. And then that kind of really changed my life. I came back and I was really inspired to start the group where we had the first meeting. So here's the deal. You guys, to do this, I can give you everything away for free and teach you, but we're going to talk about this. The first thing to make this work is going to start here. Anybody got a brain in their head? Okay. Well, let me tell you, I was in such a struggle. I'm just going to tell you the lies that I was feeding myself, and that it was okay for me to eat the things that I was putting in my mouth, and those things were not healthy. Some of those things, because I was in a lot of pain after I crushed my leg, I was self-medicating myself and not eating properly. And so when I was self-medicating, in your body, sugar does the same thing as crack cocaine. Do you guys know that in your brain? When you eat it, does the same thing. So every time you feed yourself a little piece of candy or whatever, it's really the same thing. And that's one of the things that Dr. Mark told me. He said, Melanie, you gotta quit eating that because it's not healthy for you. It's doing the same thing. You might as well take one of the pills that you do not want to take. So I had to make a big change because I don't know if any of you guys like Martin's cakes here. Anybody like Martin's cakes? Well, so did I. And I would go and buy one and eat half of it. I'm being real. I was really hurting inside. And I'd gone through so much traumatic stuff. I actually went through a divorce, which actually I stuffed it all down inside. I was very hurt. And I know a lot of you are hurting. There's so many things that you're experiencing in your life and you stuff it away. And so what happened with me is I had to get real. I had to get real with myself. I had to tell myself the truth. I had to say to myself, this is not going to be half as good for you. And you know what? I remember as my husband now says to me, Melanie, we have a problem when you're waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, going downstairs, and I catch you in the pantry because I was hurting. And so there's so many things that you can do. And so as I began on my journey, and guys, I'm still on my journey. I still have so much to do. I still have pounds to lose, and so, but you got to find friends. You got to get people to help you. Okay, that's the first step. Be real with yourself and get with people who can help you. That's why we created this community. Now, my husband laughs because I say to him now, honey, remember when I sat on the couch and I said I needed a friend because nobody knew what I was trying to do. I didn't have any supporters. Nobody knew what low carb was. What the heck? Oh, you're on that Atkins thing? You're going to get a heart attack. I was so tired of hearing about it. So what happened was I had to find some people. And my husband said to me just the other day, Mel, I said a couple friends, not 7,000 of them. As he told me to put my cell phone down at dinner. Yes, baby, you're right. Yeah, I got it. Yes. Okay. So now what I did is we created this online community. It's called Melanie's Low Carb Community. And it was supposed to be secret in the beginning. We didn't want everybody and their mother in there. because we only wanted people who were eating this way in that program, in there. And so because of these superstars that you see sitting across this audience and the ones that came up here, they're the ones in there every day that are helping almost 1,000 people. And that has actually only been up for about 2 months. So I'm very successful at this because I don't let everybody in. There's been hundreds of people that have asked, and I only let certain ones I know that really need the help. So that is a great program. So first, you got to get real. You got to look at what you're doing. You got to be honest with yourself. Please, I'm begging you on that end. Because once you get real and you uncover the things in your life that's causing some of this, then you'll understand how you can get better. Okay? Now, you do that. You get the friends. That's critical. Because going to church, I knew I had to have people around me to help me. So I said, well, let me create the same environment that we can help one another. And so that grew. Now, as this started to happen and we started gaining momentum, and thousands of people began to look at my pages. Another page is Melanie's Low Carb Journey. And that's just a daily, if you want to get bored and just watch what I do every day, then go to that page. Just saying, okay? So it was a way for me to expose what I'm doing, to be honest with myself, because I felt like if I would share it with other people, then I would have to stick to it. So the other thing that happened is I did that. I stayed in. So I'm like, I'm in. Now I'm losing. The first month, I lost 25 pounds. The 4th month, I lost 40. Okay? The 7th month, I'd lost 70. And I stand right now, guys, 14 months later, and I've lost 88 pounds. 88. Now, you want to know the coolest part? It's not that I lost 88 pounds. It's that tonight I am in the living room church talking to a bunch of people who are here that are little Melanie Millers that need help. This was the first step for you to be here tonight, to bring change to your life, to your body. You have to put together a plan of health now. Because if you don't, your body could fail. I am sick and tired of going to the hospitals when the doctors call me in because the doctors can't even get through to their patients that are laying on their deathbed. Yes, I'm a nurse, but get with it, people. This is your life. Every day that you have diabetes, every day that you have high blood pressure, you are destroying your body that was given to you as a gift. Why? Change. Do it today. Save yourself. Let me tell you something. I live in one of the most obese states in the country, here in West Virginia, but I also live in one of the fattest states. Okay, I'm not happy about it, in the fattest county. It's nothing to be proud about. Berkeley County's right there too. Let me explain to you where we are on the map according to the CDC. Here we go. In Jefferson County, there are 60,000 people. According to the CDC, we are number 2, right, in the country? So that means that 75% of our population has a BMI of 35% or higher. That's not something to be proud about, guys. 35% or higher. So somebody that has a 35% or higher BMI was me. My triglycerides were at 400. 3 times the normal level, okay, which was I was almost ready to have a heart attack. And that's what the doctor told me the day that I left. Go get yourself a blood pressure cuff, change your life. Okay? That didn't help me at all. They offered me no support. None. I needed to change my life, so I put together a plan of health. Doesn't mean Aetna or any of that. It's a plan for yourself. I stepped together what I was going to do. And just so happens, after that last doctor visit that she wanted to put me on these blood pressure medicines, that I ran into this amazing miracle doctor, Dr. Mark, that you met. I didn't know, because I fell, that I was going to end up gaining all this weight, but I didn't know I was going to change people's lives either. Let me teach you the next life-saving step. Are you ready? Listen to me, please, I beg you. Your body, if you have, and this was Dr. Mark taught me, if you have high blood pressure, prediabetes, diabetes, if you have irritable bowel, any women have endometriosis, PCOS, anybody have thyroid in here? Shall I continue? Guess what happens? Listen, here it comes. Your body cannot process any sugar, flour, or starch. Period. So, as you saw all these people up here talking about how much weight they've lost, the reason why they've lost the weight is 3 simple principles. They took the sugar, the flour, and the starch out of their diet. Guys, there's no trick to this. I want to tell you that I was on the treadmill working out every day, but I didn't. I didn't even work out. I walked every now and then. I go shopping. I go to Target and buy a coffee, and Kara goes with me, and we do laps in Target. Okay, I think it's time to leave. That's all I do. The truth of the matter is my plan for my life. I wanted to change my life. I started that day. Why? Has Melanie lost 88 pounds in this amount of time, guys? Why have these people lost all this weight? Because they didn't give up on themselves. Because they didn't eat the sugar, the flour, the starch. That's the trick. That's it. But some of you are going to walk away tonight and you're going to go, you know what? I want that donut. I don't care what she said. And I also want to go have some fries. Well, your fry days are over, guys. Don't eat them. They're one of the worst things that you can put in your body. And so are those things that are full of flour. Now I want to encourage you and tell you that you can do it. I believe, and I'm going to say this because I am a Christian. Right now I'm speaking off of Heal Clinics. I'm coming to you as Melanie Miller, okay? God puts greatness within you before you're born. You need to reach inside of where you are right now, friends. You need to pull up and rely on that greatness and move forward. Don't believe the lies that when you wake up in the morning that you'll just start tomorrow. Because today could be your last day. I'm telling you the truth. Save yourself and save your families. Tonight, you may walk away and say, dang, that girl, she really mean about it. No, folks, I'm the first person that's been honest with you in probably years. You know, it hurts to hear the truth. But if you want to change your life, it's best just to do it and believe in your ability. Please, you can do it. I didn't think I was ever going to make it. I was at the end of my rope. You know what I thought? I'm just going to gain the rest of the weight and I'm going to go get that weight loss surgery and then I'll be skinny. That's a lie. If I just learned to control myself and make smart choices, then I would have been able to be healthy quicker. And there's so many people in this room, and I know you guys are going to walk away from this event and your life is going to be forever changed, and your children's lives are going to be forever changed, and your kids are going to eat different, and your families are going to become healthy, and you're going to begin to lose weight, and you're going to see the progress because you believed in yourself. I'm teaching my 2 daughters who are both, unfortunately, they're not diabetics, but they have a thyroid, very serious thyroid condition. So my babies have to learn now how to eat because their bodies cannot process that sugar and starch. Yeah, they may be exercising and doing cheerleading and all of this and getting away with still having a slim body, but guess what? We all get older and our bodies change. So listen to me. Put yourself a plan for health together. I beg you. change your life. Now, because I changed my life, I'm changing other people's lives, and that's what matters to me more than anything, is to see people's lives get better. The legendary Art Monk that played for the Redskins and his wife, Desiree Monk, are one of my two very best friends. Very lucky to have them in my life. And, we were talking, and Desiree says to me, she's looking at my pictures, she's looking at me, and she says, we were talking the other night, and Melanie, I believe that God had a plan for you, and it was by no coincidence that you fell for no reason, crushed your leg, and now that you are helping thousands of people change theirs. Are you ready for the next level? Because I'm getting ready to share with you right now how to do it. And I know you guys have been waiting for this very moment, okay? But I just wanted to share with you the truth. See my heart and see my passion. My only wish for you is that you succeed, because you can. And there's no excuse not to, because you have all these people here that will help you. Not just me. It's not about me. It's about how we can help each other. So with that being said, I'm going to switch back to Heal Clinics. Is that okay? I'm going to put my Heal Clinics in. Y'all pick this up. I want everybody, do you have this little packet? All right. So what happened was, I guess I got pretty good at helping save people's lives, and I got Dr. Eric Westman's attention. To see him right now over at Duke, it takes about 6 months. Actually, he's booked up till February right now, almost March. And if you have $10,000, then you can go see him, because by the time you finish with your insurance and coverage and all of that, that's about what it cost. That's kind of crazy, isn't it? Well, you know what? He has such a big heart that he launched this company with another fellow, and it's called Heal Clinics. And he actually told me about this when he came out to do the meeting in West Virginia. And he came to me and he said, Melanie, I believe that you could be a part of Heal. I believe that you could help me with Heal. So I'm like, I'm scared. I've been in business for myself. I've been marketing Redskins, doing marketing for companies for years. I don't play well on a team. Right, Pastor, you know me. Sometimes girls are like that. So I felt that way. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like really thinking and praying about it. So anyway, Dr. Westman calls me up. He says, Melanie, I know you've talked to everybody that's on the team, but I have this question for you. Would you rather just keep changing thousands of people's lives, or would you like to change millions if you join up with me? And man, did you have to say it like that? You just put it hard on a sister. Okay, let me think about it. Okay, never mind, Eric, you're right. Which he's right a lot. So I partnered up with this company called Heal Clinics, which Eric Westman is the medical director. And our vision is to change people's lives across this country and globally. And what they did, as you can see, Heal Clinics they actually have a clinic that's open, but we're working on many right now. There are going to be many clinics that are going to open, and it's going to be clinics where we can help those of you who are diabetics, okay? Because like Jimmy was saying, you have to, if you are a diabetic, you have to be monitored by an MD. Those of you watching on Facebook, listen to me. You can't just go out and find any low-carb program online if you're a diabetic. Doesn't work that way. You need to go to your doctor and you need to seek help, because your medications can become very strong, extremely strong, this way of eating. Because like I told you, this way of eating halts diabetes. So those meds can make you very sick. You have to be careful. So what I did is I joined up. So we're going to be placing clinics across the country. Well, what happens is, okay, so I'm helping Dr. Westman, I'm helping Heal. I'm like, yeah, he makes me the director of engagement. What is that? I'm like, well, director of engagement, what is it? Well, what I'm doing right now. And I'm engaging, that's all I do. I engage all day long, I talk to people. But I'm building the clinics, and that's part of my responsibility. So I went to Dr. Westman and I said, Dr. Westman, I need your help because we have a big problem here. I'm getting 30 to 50 emails and instant messages, the combination of each day. I can't get any sleep. I need your help. He's like, my gosh, are you answering all of them? And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm trying. These are people that are reaching out. And guys, the message goes like this. Melanie, I think I'm dying. I can't think straight. All I want to do is eat. My sadness is like being on a roller coaster that I can't get off. And I'm never going to get off this roller coaster if someone doesn't grab my hand and pull me off. Do you think I can just leave them alone? That's not my heart. And I get this all day long. So I said to Dr. Eric, I'm like, can we come up with something? So we birthed this new program. This program is called HEALcare. Have any of you heard of it online? Raise your hand. Okay, HEALcare. Yes, some people's heard of it. All right, let me tell you about HEALcare. I get so excited. So HEALcare is our non-medical version at the clinics. All right, so here's how it works. It is the no sugar, no starch, high fat program. Okay? But you actually see a physician or a PA, but we don't do with people who have diabetes. You cannot be on this program if you're diabetic. You cannot be, because you have to go to the doctor. You have to go to one of our clinics. You have to go to the doctor. So this is for people who are medically trying to lose weight. Okay? These are people like you that maybe just want to lose some pounds. They can't understand why they can't lose. Right? So we created this program. It's all his program. It's incredible. It works. You saw it. But the cool thing is, here we go, is you get a behavioral person. We call them like life coaches. So you get a physician that you Skype with. Right now, the lucky people that are joining are actually getting to talk to Dr. Westman through Skype. Then they go to our coaches who actually help their behaviorals. It's incredible. And they're called commitment coaches, because staying on this program is all about commitment. And then here comes the cool part. So then we have somebody who's called a partner. Doesn't everybody like having a partner? Well, guess who the partner is? Somebody like me, somebody who's lost the weight, that actually comes along with you, holds your hand, checks on you, and makes sure that everything's okay. So you have 3 processes going on. Okay, that's HEALcare. The closest clinic is in Durham, but I will tell you, watch my eye, something may be coming real close over to Loudon Hospital, that way. I can't say anything else, but just watch it. Okay, and then I'm working on this other place called Martinsburg. Watch it. Okay? And in between, HEALcare. So tonight, what I want to do is Dr. Westman wanted me to give you a gift. He wanted me to share with you how we help people. All right? There is a cost to see one of the physicians in the clinic down in Durham. We also have a cost to be on the HEALcare program. The HEALcare program is $95 a month for all 3 of those things. It's private pay, that's it. You sign, if you do not have diabetes, you may sign up. It's an incredible program. The HEALcare program is what all these people that you see have lost all their weight on. It's amazing. But he wanted me to give you a gift. Are y'all ready for some free stuff? So, if you open up your packet, everybody open up your packet. I'm going to rip this open here. Got it? You guys got it? So right here, you got yourself a little measuring tape. No, this isn't to make sewing projects, guys. This is for us. We're going to measure our waist. All right? So you're going to take this every week that you're on the program. Everybody give me thumbs up. Watch. Thumbs up, stick it in your belly button. Okay? You're going to take that measuring tape and you're going to measure around. Did you hear Paige when she says she just measures and she doesn't? She goes by sizes. Your body is a funny little thing. When you start losing weight like this, it's going to trick you because not all of it is going to come off in weight on the scale. The body's going to move it around and burn it. Okay? So you're going to need to have that. Now, here's the cool part. So there's the free. If you open up the little letter that I gave you, just open up, there's another gift. If you open up the back page, it says, see where it says complimentary voucher? See this where it says HEALclinics.com. Anybody can get on the internet, right? Our company gives this program away completely for free. So if you cannot afford to be on HEALcare, or you cannot afford to be on the clinic, go see the clinics, we still want you to have access to this program. I don't know what company, I don't know what doctor, I don't know what organization does that, but we do. And so tonight, for those of you who came, I want you to save your life. And this is how I want you to do it. You're going to go to HEALclinics.com. You're going to you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom of the page. And where it says sign up with your name and email, you're going to email it and then hit the go button. And you guys will get an email back. And it'll be the whole program, the book. Anybody got one of the books with them? It's a little book, but it'll be in an email. And there's also excerpts from our diabetic cookbook for free. So what I need you tonight to do is to go there, enter your name, information, change your life. If you're diabetic, I'm going to warn you though, like I already did, talk to your doctor first before you join this. Okay? So that's from HEAL. That's a gift from us to you. How can you help us? By helping yourself. I need you to sign up. I need you to take care of yourself and your own plan for health. It's all on there. If you forget the places I told you tonight to go, where you can find help from myself and Julie and Kara and my cousin and Holly. Holly, raise your hand. Paige, raise your hand. Okay, Tammy, my cousin right there. I got another cousin right there. Beth is on it. They're all in this group. There's tons of us in there helping everybody. In that PDF that you will get to print off, it has listed Mel's Low Carb Community, the Facebook pages, HEALcare Community. You can join that, okay? We're doing everything we can to help you guys. But today, you're going to have to help yourself. Please, do it for yourself. And if there's other people you know that need help, don't be afraid to tell them about it. It's fine. We don't mind. We don't mind giving that away. Well, if you need help along the way, then I'm just going to encourage you to sign up with HEALcare because it'll change your life, just like it changed mine. Also, I want to end right now, but I want to remind you that you got to help Jimmy tonight by buying his book. It's very important. But I also want to do something for the living room. We need to pass some, I don't know if you guys, they let us use this church for free. I don't know if you got $1 or $2 or whatever. I'd really like it if you guys would be willing to give and support Pastor. They're building a brand new church. Just anything you guys have. Is there a bucket or something we can pass, guys? There a basket? Can somebody grab one of the baskets for us to pass around? Well, actually, Holly's working on something right here. Just anything you guys can do to bless them. Please. They're just amazing people. Oh, and with that being said, too, I got a message from Eric Westman for you, Pastor. He says, when is the church open? And are we allowed to have the big convention next year at the church? Will it be open? Yes. He says he wants to see the spinning lights and all the great stuff that's done. So can we give the living room a hand, too, guys? Thank you so much. I just love their hearts here. And if there's anything I can do, I'll stay after. I'm going to be back there with Jimmy. You guys, reach out to me if you need help. My business card is on there. Email me, text me, whatever you need. All right? I love you guys. God bless you, and thanks for coming and listening to us tonight. I hope this changed your life.